Hello everyone and welcome back for more Rocket Lab with your favorite Stock Trek girl. And don't forget to check out Rocket Lab Saturday's video that I made in case you missed it. This is simply a supplemental video because there was so much information and new developments from Rocket Lab. This is going to be fun. Let's get started. And a fine example of the responsive launch that Rocket Lab provides for its customers, Rocket Lab is quickly putting together a launch for the Japanese Earth imaging company QPS to launch a dedicated Electron mission as soon as next month. The mission will deploy iQPS's QPS ZAR 5 satellite named Tsukuyomi-E. I don't even know if I said that right, but it basically means the moon god awakens, an acknowledgement of Tsukuyomi, the Japanese god of the moon. And it's no wonder why QPS has chosen Rocket Lab to deliver their satellite vehicles, as previously they had used the Epsilon 6 rocket, which didn't quite go so well. Now, Rocket Lab will definitely offer a more reliable launch vehicle and make sure that they finally reach their destination safely. Rocket Lab has been putting its acquisition of SolAero solar panels to good use, as we can see right here for the new upcoming Psyche mission by NASA. In less than 2 months from now, NASA will be sending its Psyche mission out to go and explore the metal-rich asteroid. Psyche is using the Falcon 9 Heavy to launch it, and it's incorporating Rocket Lab's solar panels in order to propel it around the mineral-rich meteorite. This mission brought forth by NASA is a great way to showcase how multiple space companies unite for a single mission. And NASA is at it again, partnering with Rocket Lab for 2 additional Electron launches for NASA's Pre-Fire mission that's going to be launching in 2024. And in case you're wondering what that mission is all about, Pre-Fire stands for Polar Radiant Energy in the Far Infrared Experiment. Wow, try saying that 10 times. The NASA Pre-Fire mission is a climate change research mission focused on Arctic warming. It is going to help researchers battle against rising sea levels and melting ice sheets. NASA's Pre-Fire mission will also help close a gap in understanding how much of the Earth's heat is lost to space, especially from the Arctic and Antarctica. The Pre-Fire mission consists of 2 6U CubeSats with a baseline mission length of about 10 months. So the 2 dedicated missions, they're going to be on the rocket Electron, and they will be deploying 1 small satellite each to a circular orbit from the Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand around May 2024. Rocket Lab's next upcoming launch is going to be for Capella Space. Now, Capella Space is the leading provider of commercial synthetic aperture radar, otherwise known as ZAR imagery. Now, We Love the Nightlife will be Rocket Lab's 3rd launch for Capella, following their successful launch of Stronger Together that was launched in March of 2023 this year from Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 2 in Virginia. This time, they will be launching from Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand from their Mahia Peninsula. Now, We Love the Nightlife will be the first of 4 new dedicated launches on Electron for Capella, and it will deploy Capella's next generation ZAR Earth imaging satellites called Acadia. Now, as you can see here, Acadia is the ZAR imaging satellite, and ZAR imaging is amazing imagery to capture weather observation, maritime. It can even have the capacity to see inside buildings. That is how intense and focused this imaging can be. So we look forward to this happening. This launch will be launching around August 24th is when the launch window opens in New Zealand. If you are a Kiwi, be checking for a launch on August 24th between 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. And if you happen to be an American or on the more towards, that side of the world, it's going to be a day sooner. and it'll be on August 23rd between 7:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. So ironically, for the American side, we are going to be loving the nightlife because the launch is happening at night, and the launch in New Zealand, where it's actually taking off from, is happening during the day. So this looks like it's going to be a fun launch to watch. Be sure to follow me on Stock Trek Girl on Twitter, otherwise known as X, for more upcoming launch updates. And in case the launch does get changed, remember this is simply a launch window, and depending on weather and other factors, it can be pushed back. Now, I know a lot of you have been making comments on my previous Rocket Lab videos wanting to know my opinion on the stock price. And I'm going to go a little bit further in depth with you on the latest stock movements, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so we are sitting at $5.86 a share right now, as of market close on Friday. Some things I want to point out, back in July here, we hit a nice peak there. We went all the way to at least 750. We were getting close to 8 there. And then, things started to go downhill, right? So I want to point out a couple things here. We have a head and shoulders looking top, and then at this point we crossed our moving average, which are both bearish signals at this point. As you can see from a past history, we have our mountain, our peak, and we go down the mountain, and then we have another mountain, go down the peak. We might be coming around the mountain when we come, right? So we might be going down again. And think of it as a wave. And I do think that in the near term, we're going to see more downside. We could even go all the way down to 450, right? Which seems pretty steep, but it could happen. So my plan is to accumulate. If it does drop in that period, I do plan to scoop up some more shares because that's a really good price. In the long term, I still believe in Rocket Lab stock. I still think it's going to be a great stock in my portfolio for many years to come. And I don't plan on selling. I plan on just buying on top of what I already own. So that's my strategy. Everybody has a different strategy, but that is mine. And I'm a long-term shareholder. I've been holding my shares a very long time, and I have not sold one. So I've been riding the waves and just adding on the lows, and it's quite a euphoric ride. It's like a roller coaster. But I do think in the long term, especially after Neutron takes off and we get some of our own satellite systems up there generating revenue for us in addition to the space systems and the launches, I do think it's going to be a major player in the space industry. I think it's going to drop in the near term, so you might want to consider that. It could go up. I'm not exactly a fortune teller here. I'm just looking at patterns. Pattern shows it's going to be going down, so we will have to see. But it doesn't mean that the stock isn't going to do well soon after. So we will see where we are next week when we go ahead and look at this chart again. And until next time, invest long and prosper.